we are talking about the most underrated Pokemon, just like we did last time around. And today we're going to talk about some fire types, because fire is a very good type, and there's a lot of very good Pokemon in here. But we're not talking about the best, we're talking about the most underrated. So welcome back to the channel. As you guys already know, if you watch my previous video, these are going to come out every other day, so make sure you like and subscribe for more. And let's get started. What is the most underrated fire type in Generation 1? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's Rapidash. Fire is not as strong of a type in Gen 1 as you think, because a lot of fire types other than Charizard and Arcanine are physical fire types. And that really hurts it by comparison. Rapidash is one of those physical fire types. But when this physical special split became a thing, Rapidash became amazing. It's in its name, Rapidash. This thing is incredibly fast. It's obviously overshadowed by Charizard and Arcanine by a wide margin, right? Everybody knows those are the two fire types they think of when they think of Generation 1. But Rapidash not only gets a very good fire moveset, it's incredibly fast. And that's what makes it really, really underrated, is that speed that you get out of it. Gen 2, underrated fire type. It's Magcargo. Yes, I did it. Yes, Magcargo has so many weaknesses, but his weaknesses also are his strengths. And let me explain why. His weaknesses are that he has a severe amount of types that he is not good against. Fighting, water, ground, right? Grass is neutral against him, right? I'm missing one. Rock is super effective against him, right? However, those are also his strengths. Fire Rock gives him so much offensive power. The only thing that Magcargo lacks is offensive statistics. But you can make this thing work for you. You can. It's slow. Put it in a Trick Room set, right? Put it in a Trick Room set. Give it a bunch of really strong moves that should one-shot. Put it in a Trick Room set. You can also use this thing to set up. It's a Stealth Rock user. You really couldn't. I don't know if it gets Shell Smash, but it probably does, considering it is a Shell Pokemon. So that's another option you have. So you can do some stuff with this guy, 100%. Most underrated Gen 3. Well, we don't have a whole lot of options. I'm going to go with Torkoal for sure. Obviously, Blaziken's the best. The thing with Torkoal is that it's incredibly bulky. There are two Pokemon, and then I think you guys are going to relate to this when I talk about my childhood. There are two Pokemon that I struggled to beat in my childhood. And they're both on my screen right now. Whitney's Miltank was impossible. And everybody who played Gold, Silver, Crystal for the first time, or maybe even Heart Gold, Soul Silver, although I don't think it was as hard in that game because the levels were a little bit better, had a hard time with that Miltank, right? In my personal opinion, Flannery's Torkoal is the same. It is so incredibly bulky, and it doesn't matter what you do, you can't take it down with brute force like you can with everything else. And when you are a kid playing the game, you don't use status moves. You don't use setup moves that boost your attack. You only use attacking moves. If you are a 12-year-old playing Pokemon, the only thing you're putting on your Pokemon are attacking-based moves. I have my 36, 38, 40 Blaziken spamming double kick on this Torkoal, and it doesn't die because it's so bulky. This thing is physically defensive, and that makes a huge difference for him. He gets smokescreen. He gets a lot of really good fire moves. You can use this thing into any physical attacker and live quite a few hits. Generation 4. Honestly, nothing but powerhouses. I can't even say that one is over or underrated or anything like that, but Magmar's the answer. I mean, Magmortar is, out of all of these, the only one I really can choose, right? Infernape's one of the best Pokemon ever. Heatran's a legendary. Rotom Heat is a legendary, not a legendary, a staple of competitive battling. So it's Magmortar. I can't really say anything else. He's just the most underrated by comparison because the rest of them are just way better than him, and there's nothing really else that I can say about it. Gen 5, we got some options, though. Ooh, we need to scroll. Let me scroll over for you guys. Here you go. Let me do this. The most underrated is Darmanitan. Darmanitan is faster and stronger than you think it is. I can't tell you how many times I faced off with a Darmanitan and got hit way harder than I expected. I love his design, but most importantly, I hate fighting against it, which really reminds me how underrated it truly is. It's just going to do so many great things for you. And it also has Zen mode, which is the first fire ice type of its kind. It's literally Shoto Todoroki in the flesh, the Zen mode. But Darmanitan himself, really, really underrated. Generation 6. I picked Pyroar in my normal video. And I'm going to pick him again because there's no other option. I'm going to give you the same explanation. It's a fire type that does everything well for you except be a tank, which is why he doesn't get pushed into like elite category. But he can still do so many good things for you as a piece of your team, so long as you have him set up and against the right Pokemon properly. That's basically what I'd say about Pyroar. Gen 7 is definitely Oricorio. You guys don't understand. Oricorio's moveset is what makes it special. The legit specific moves that this thing gets does a lot of good things for you. And Fire Flying, in all fairness, is a really underrated type. We got it for the first time as like a mainstay with Talonflame. Obviously, Moltres had it too, but the problem was when Moltres was around is that Flying was mostly a physical type, so Moltres wasn't really that strong by comparison, having a special and a physical type paired up together. So this was the first time since the physical special split that they gave us a Fire Flying Pokemon, and they did a great job with it, and Talonflame. You know, they did it with both of them. They made a big difference. Now, the difference with Oricorio is it's actually more of a special Fire Flying, whereas Talonflame was a physical Fire Flying. But that also makes it underrated because they did a really good job with this thing's moveset and its ability as well. 100%. Generation 8. Yeah, it's Centiskorch. Centiskorch is a weird Pokemon because, again, its typing exposes it more than it helps it, right? But it does still give it a lot of offensive power. You guys know one thing, if you've played Pokemon for a long time, is that bug types were neglected for like 7 generations. And it wasn't until Gen 5 is when they started giving bug type a little bit more power. I believe that was the case. And then it was like Gen 7 when they really started focusing on bug types, which made Centiskorch really help here in Gen 8. And he really kind of took off from there. Generation 9. Oh, I forgot your name. I love this thing. Fire Grass typing. Fire Grass typing is so awesome, guys. It gives you so many immunities you didn't know you needed. Okay? The fire cancels out Grass's bug and poison immunity. The grass cancels out fire's water resistance, right? And it also makes you neutral to ground. It makes you neutral to rock. It gives him so many resistances. The biggest problem with this two-headed monster, unfortunately, is that he's just not very strong and very bulky at all. The typing was perfect. The statistics of this Pokemon just didn't work for him. Just didn't. Most underrated, though, it's Darmanitan. Yeah, it's Darmanitan. I mean, this thing can do so much more for you than you think it can until you actually use it yourself. That's the best explanation I have for you. So that is our list of the most underrated fire types in all of Pokemon. We've got Rapidash, Magcargo, Torkoal, Magmortar, Darmanitan, Pyroar, Oricorio, Centiskorch. Forgot your name. I want to call you Choodle, but that's the Gen 8 turtle guy who we might actually talk about in the next one in water. We'll see about that. And then Darmanitan. That's our list. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.